with regard to Minister Gordon, you said, do I know Mr. Gordon? Yes, I know Mr. Gordon. There is no way I could not know him.
Now look, we came as the leadership of the Economic Freedom Fighters to open a police case of corruption against Jamnanda's Gordon, because we believe that in trying to influence the Chief Justice to appoint his personal friend, he violated Section 3 of the Prevention and Combating of Corruption Activities Act, which clearly states that no one is permitted to violate their position of authority, particularly if such is going to benefit themselves or their friends. So we then lodged that complaint to say that we think that what Pravin Gordon did basically amounted to corrupt activity, because corruption is just not about the exchange of money. It's about abuse of position of authority, as is outlined and forbidden in the act that we have opened the case on, the Corruption Act that speaks to that. But also what we did today was to remind the SAPS that there's a pending case that we have opened against Pravin Gordon at the Brooklyn Police Station on money laundering, on racketeering and corruption of now money movements, which were written to the Financial Intelligence Center, and the Financial Intelligence Center had come back to us to say that they've referred the case to the DPCI, which is the Hawks that is responsible for that, but there's still not yet one activity that has been followed up in that regard. And our opening of the case here is not just the end of what we're going to do. We are still going to write to the public protector, because we think that in trying to influence the Chief Justice and misrepresenting himself to say that he's going there for official duties, whilst he was going to influence the appointment of his personal friend, he also violated the Executive Ethics Code. But also are going to report him to the Ethics Committee in Parliament. So there's a triple process that we're engaged in: the police case, the public protector, and a parliamentary inquiry, so that it can be held accountable. We've been saying about Pravin Gordon that is up to no good, and this is going to expose his shenanigans if the police follow it thoroughly. Thank you very much.
Any questions?
Yes, DP. Pelan Pakaria from Newsroom Africa. I know you've touched on exactly what we're here, but the intestines of some of on your statement, it must have been a lengthy one since 11 o'clock. What were some of the pointers that you want the police to urgently deal with, to say the least, and what time frames have you asked for?
You know that the way the police process operates is that you go and lodge a statement, you make reference to the relevant legislations that have been violated, and the manner in which the police handle that case post your opening of the case is up to them. So we think in the immediate they're going to appoint an investigations officer who will then call all parties relevant to account. The judge, the Chief Justice must be one of the witnesses to confirm that indeed a bogus meeting was called by Pravin Gordon with him, to the extent that the Chief Justice had to take a break from the JSC process. A bogus meeting was called so that he can say to him that time as a Minister of Finance that, remember, Chief Justice, that this person you're interviewing is a friend of a Minister of Finance. That is pure abuse of position of authority. And that is what has to be dealt with decisively by our criminal justice systems. There must be no untouchables in South Africa. And the court system must begin to illustrate that Pravin is not above the law. We've been saying on several occasions that this man is acting like he's above the law. So this must come to an end with this case, but also the follow-up of the case that we opened in Brooklyn.
Mr. Shivambu,
yes.
Does this give credence to the allegation by yourself as the EFF and some within the governing party that the judiciary in this country is captured by certain politicians and those who hold the economic power of this country, white monopoly capital?
It is not the judiciary that is captured. They are judges that belong to pockets of politicians. That is a fact. And it's beginning to show up now. Like where a judge goes to an interview, first a question was asked about her proximity to Pravin Gordon, and she was obfuscating. She was not clear in terms of a response. When the Commander-in-Chief of the EFF asked her a question, she came to confirm that she has been friends with Pravin Gordon. She even says that actually the only time they've not been seeing each other frequently is during the COVID lockdown period. Meaning that these are people who have been interacting consistently. How do you, as a judge, interact with politicians who from time to time have to be held accountable by the criminal justice system, by yourself, which in some instances will have to preside over cases that involve your opponents in the political space, whether it be factional opponents in the ruling party or it's people who are opposed to Pravin Gordon from different angles. So that relationship also is beginning to confirm what we've been saying, that sections of the judiciary, some judges are captured by the politicians, and all they do, they abuse the judiciary to fulfill political purposes.
Are you not worried of the timing that the Chief Justice spoke about this particular matter? Why did he not speak about it then and resolve it with the minister, or was he just afraid?
Look, the context of the Chief Justice speaking about it is because he was told by Pravin Gordon that this Judge Pillay is my friend. He didn't confirm that with me. When yesterday she confirmed that indeed they are friends, he then realized that there is something wrong. It means that this relationship these two people have is inappropriate. But also as Chief Justice, he cannot go around lodging complaints. The Chief Justice can't go around lodging complaints against judges underneath him, because he will appear as if he's in pursuit of a political program. He can't be a complainant who later on has to adjudicate on the same case. So that is why I just brought to the attention that actually that now you are confirming that this guy is your friend. He told me that he's your friend. I possibly thought that it's just one of the small talks. But now there is a complaint against you. You must remember that the issue of the friendship of Judge Pillay and Pravin Gordon is part of the complaints and objections to her appointment as a judge. And then he realizes that she is now confirming in an official platform that they are friends. And then he began to realize that even the bogus meeting that was convened by Pravin Gordon was not a meeting at all, was about to talk about the appointment into the judiciary, into a senior level in the judiciary. That is what the Chief Justice has done. So there is nothing wrong the Chief Justice did. He was waiting for an opportunity to expose that actually I've had an incident before, and now it is being confirmed by the parties concerned.
Politically, how will the EFF be holding the under fire minister now Pravin Gordon to account? Will you not be allowing him to speak either in parliamentary committees or in parliament itself? Will you be staging similar scenes that we saw from President Zuma?
Now look, we have said that we've got a three-pronged approach now. One is this police case that we have opened. We are going to write to the public protector, because the public protector is the only one that can enforce the executive ethics code. And then we're going to write to the Parliamentary Ethics Committee and demand that there must be a hearing against him, like there were hearings against members of EFF of Parliament, and some were found guilty, which were appealing. Now here is a clear violation of the Constitution, of a clear violation of the separation of power principle. That is at a political state. We're going to make sure that Parliament follows up in that particular regard. What we'll do when Parliament is physically open, we'll decide when we get there. We'll decide when we get there. Our immediate approach is what we have just outlined we're going to do. But we will see if we will allow people who deliberately violate the Constitution to address Parliament and speak in committees as if nothing happened. We'll decide when the time is right.
The last one from us, from the SABC, the EFF's response on...
Thank you, Honorable Pravin. Justice Pillay, I have a few questions for you too.
Yes, Chief Justice.
I noticed when Honorable Singh asked you, flowing from the comments that he read, whether you were a friend or a close acquaintance of Mr. Haneko and Minister Gordon. You said With respect to Mr. Hanekom, no, I'm not his friend. And then with regard to Minister Godam, you said, do I know Mr. Godam? Yes, I know Mr. Godam. There is no way I could not know him. It was after Mr. Honorable Malema asked you in a more pointed way, again, whether you were friends, that you admitted friendship. Let me tell you where I'm going from. I'm going to. During the last interviews for the Constitutional Court that you attended, and while the JSC program was running, my office got a call from the office of Minister Pravin Gordon seeking an appointment with me. And I was a bit surprised. We had never met except at the meeting of the heads of the arms of the state, where he had to brief us as Minister of Finance regarding the true state of the fiscus at the time, so that we embark on the cost-cutting measures that you might be aware we tried to introduce afterwards. He came, I took a break from the JSC proceedings, and I really don't know what the purpose of the meeting was. I don't have a clear recollection. I think there was something about the tax ombuds, but what stuck to my mind and left me puzzled was the following. He asked me a question. He said, how did my friend Daya Pillay perform? And we had just caused the spokespersons to announce the results, and I told him, because it was public knowledge, that you did not make it. And the thing has stayed with me. It got renewed as Honorable Sim read the question to you, as Honorable Malema engaged you. I said, why did the Honorable Minister make an effort to meet me? We are not friends. I don't know him from anywhere except from television. Why did he make a trip, seek an audience with me, just to ask me, how did my friend Daya Pillay perform? So it is in that context that the concern regarding your relationship with Honorable Minister Godam arises, and my concern regarding your initial response, which didn't seem to admit or acknowledge friendship, arises.